Welcome to Frost Astrophotography and install and configure your own PC for astrophotography processing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install and configure PixInsight and your PC for best performance when doing astrophotography processing. I'm also going to talk a little bit about performance and show you some statistics between my old computer from 12 years ago and this computer that I just built, and we will see how much faster it really is. The Astrophotography Processing PC has been built and I have installed Windows 11 Pro. I thought I wouldn't bore you with the complete installation of that, and hopefully you can manage that on your own. A few things to consider is that if you have a new computer, you might have a few options or features that you need to have enabled in order for Windows 11 to be installed. One of the things that I noticed on my motherboard was that the security module or feature TPM was not enabled, and that is a requirement for Windows 11 Pro. So be sure to check the settings on your motherboard if your Windows says that the prerequisites for the installation are not met. When Windows has been installed, you obviously need to install all of the drivers for your system. Depending on what components you chose, you need to install the motherboard drivers, chipset drivers, graphic drivers, etc. And in my case, since I used the Asus ROG Strix Z790F gaming motherboard, I installed the Armoury Crate software as well as the GPU Tweak software, and within that software you have the option of downloading all of the latest drivers for the motherboard. I also installed the NVIDIA reference graphics drivers from their website, and of course I ran through the Windows update procedure to install all of the available updates for my operating system. Now, since I have the unlocked version of my CPU, I can overclock both the main processor and the graphics card if I want to, and as you can see on the screen here, these options are available within the software itself, and it's fairly easy today, but keep in mind that you would need a powerful power supply as well as some powerful cooling for both of the CPU and the graphics card if you're going to use overclocking, because that will produce a lot more heat than the stock frequencies and settings. For the purposes of this video and testing, I will first use all of the stock settings on the components. I will run through a series of PixInsight processes that took a long time on my old computer, and I will compare the time to execute those and show you the results. I will then investigate how to install and configure to be able to use the GPU or graphics card here to add some extra processing power to PixInsight and see if that also makes a difference in the processing time. Let's get started at installing PixInsight and doing the first initial configuration of that. We're starting off here on the PixInsight website. If you don't have PixInsight, you will have to purchase a license, of course, first, but you can also use a trial period. I have PixInsight since a few years back, and I will simply go to Downloads here and the Software Distribution Center. As a normal TV chef, I've prepared the logon here, and of course I might not want to show you my logon credential, of course, for this page. But when you're logged in, you can look at your license data and you will have the installation packages available for your system. And in my case, I'm going to download the latest version here, PixInsight for Windows 10.11, the 64-bit. So I'm going to click on that and the download will start here. We're going to wait a little bit since I have a fiber connection here in my house, a 500 megabit. This will not take that long. I've already downloaded half of that 702 megabyte installation file. Installation file is completed. I will click on it. We're starting the PixInsight installer. There's actually not much to do when installing PixInsight for the first time other than just wait for the installation procedure, I guess. Copying some new files and then just wait for it to finish, and you can see that I have a fairly quick SSD and the installation has been completed fairly quickly. I want to have PixInsight on my taskbar, so I'm going to attach it to the activity field here. I'm going to push it out. And we're going to start it for the first time here. In the PixInsight software activation window, you will enter your user identifier. You can find that in your software distribution system page after you logged on. But the activation code you cannot find there. You will have to receive it the first time you purchased the software. If you somehow should have lost this, you can request activation code from Pleiades Astrophoto. After you have successfully entered your license information, you will come right into PixInsight like I did, and you might have a PixInsight update available. Since there are some repositories already in PixInsight, you will just click apply here and it will download the latest updates. When the update's finished, you will close PixInsight and you will get a question. if you want to install the updates or not, and you just click yes, and also make sure Restart PixInsight is selected. It will automatically update your system with these updates. It will show an update process successful. As you can see here now, I have a nice 32 logical processors to be used in PixInsight. That is a big improvement from last time, but we are still going to add some things to PixInsight before we get into testing. So there are a lot of things already included, or most things included in PixInsight from start, but as you know, if you've been watching my videos or other people's videos, there are additions to PixInsight that you might want to do. In order to add your favorite processes or scripts, you go to Resources, Updates, and Manage Repositories. You will have some default repositories here from PixInsight, and then you can add your own. I have actually bought RC Astro's all favorite tools. I find them really useful and really effective, so I'm going to add these again. Now, if you don't have a Blur Exterminator, Noise Exterminator, and Star Exterminator from RC Astro, I recommend testing them and purchasing a license if you like them. I also have some other repositories that I use or may want to have installed. I will select all of these right now, and I will include a list in the video description of this video if you would like to use the same repositories that I'm using here. So after you have entered everything and you feel happy with that, you will click OK. You go to Resources, Updates again, and you check for updates. And PixInsight will be downloading your repository information, and hopefully it will be downloading all of the additions that you have made. After the initial check, you will get a list. You might see that some repositories have some information or not available for this version or something. I think this might be completely out of date, but I will let it stay in there. So I will select all and I will click apply. It will be downloading all of these additions to PixInsight. If you get something that is not really suitable for your version or not tested or anything, you can just click download anyway if you want to. When the installation has finished, you will click OK, and then you will exit PixInsight. You will get the same question as before. Do you want to install updates now? You click yes. It will perform the update and then restart PixInsight for you. If this is the first time you are installing this and you have purchased some processes like Blur Exterminator here, you might need to install or enter your license information here the first time. So I will do that for my 3RC Astro, and then I will come back. And now I have permanently licensed my 3RC Astro processes. You will get a message saying permanently licensed after you click validation on that one. Now these are ready to be used. The next thing that I like to do is to set up PixInsight with my favorite processes and scripts For example here, if I use Blur Exterminator a lot, I will adjust the settings on the process in question to something that I'm fairly happy with and to something that I normally use every time. Then I will make a new instance of that using that little triangle, drag it to the workspace in question, and then I will set the icon identifier to whatever I want. You can't use any spaces in the identifier here, so make sure that you are aware of that. Now you can drag this and place it anywhere you want on your workspace. And the next time you open this, it will have the settings that you made. But you can also reset them if you want to use the default settings. But the next time you open this, your settings will be in there, and that makes processing a bit quicker. So you just add the icons, processes, or scripts that you want to use. Then you will right-click somewhere on the workspace here, select processing icons, and then save processing icons, and save that file to somewhere on your hard drive so that you can open that the next time you are using PixInsight. Now I saved my processing icon file from my old computer. So I'm going to click processing icons, load processing icons. I'm going to browse for my processing icons that I've saved. I'm going to double click on that file and I get the processing icons back that I normally use. There are also some global preferences in PixInsight. You can get to those from the edit menu and the global preferences. Some of the things that you might want to change that has been changed during the course of development is message box settings, for example. If you would like to change the order of yes and no, you can do that in here under message box settings, and you can switch places with yes and no if you would like, because I saw that this was changed rather recently in a version, and you might want to go back to the one that you had before and not use default here. Under File I/O settings, you can also select the default Save As image. I use the default EXIFs, but you might want to have another default Save As setting here, and you will just have to enter it here. It might be useful for you to go through these preference settings and see if there are others that you would like to have. Now it's time to do some performance checks here. I have opened a stacked HA image here that has been drizzled. So it is 8189 by 5527. I will first of all start to test out the blur exterminator here. Now keep in mind I have done no special settings whatsoever in PixInsight. I don't have any settings done in my Windows, and I have not overclocked anything. It's just the default settings with the latest drivers of everything. So I'm going to execute this, and I'm going to start a timer here on my phone. And then we're going to see how long does it take to run Blur Exterminator on this image. Going for the home stretch here now, and that is 100%. And we can check to see here the processing time. It is 3 minutes and 8 seconds. So that is actually very good. From 23 minutes and 5 seconds down to 3 minutes and 8 seconds for the blur exterminator. That is 20 minutes less. Now this is going to be really good for me. It will be interesting to see if I can increase this even more using my GPU or graphics card for acceleration. I'm going to undo the blur exterminator on this image here. Then I'm going to start noise exterminator. And I'm going to execute this on the image here to see how long that will take. Now, noise exterminator was a bit quicker on the old computer. You can see that it is going fairly quickly here as well. And it will be interesting to see how much we are gaining here. It has finished now in 38 seconds, and before on the old computer it took 4 minutes and 55 seconds to complete. The third test that I did on my old computer was to run Star Exterminator. For this I have an HA, the same HA actually, but this time it has been stretched and it is now in a nonlinear mode. We're going to run the star exterminator on this with a generate star image and on-screen stars, and we will see how long this will actually take. We are closing in on the final stretch here for the new computer, and we are going to check out the processing time. It is 1 minute and 59 seconds. So going from 17 minutes 52 seconds to 1 minute 59 seconds, that is really good. I also did a subframe selector test. And you might be familiar with this. It is a tool to test the subframes before you are selecting which one to use on your project or not. And this could be very tedious if you have a lot of subframes. What I am going to do now is I'm going to add some files here. On my old computer, I selected all of the frames for my latest project. This has not been in any video yet, but it is coming soon. So I have 196 light frames drizzled, and I'm going to measure the subframes here to see how long that will actually take. And there it has finished. Let's see if you have a processing time here or not. Yeah, it is 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Now this is a very nice surprise because, like I said, 23 minutes 14 seconds I had to wait on my old computer for the subframe selector to finish with all of these files. And this is crucial, I would say, this step, in order to determine the quality of the images here. The next step now is to try GPU acceleration for the AI-powered tools in PixInsight to see if that makes a difference or not. You can reach this page on RC Astro's website. Go up to Info and GPU acceleration for AI-powered tools. There's a little bit of background information. There's also a post on the PixInsight forum with some more details and a lot of information from other users. But we are scrolling down. Make sure that you have a compatible graphics card. Make sure you have the latest NVIDIA drivers. I have the latest NVIDIA drivers installed, and then you're going to install the NVIDIA CUDA toolkit. We're going to open up this website and we are going to click on Windows Platform and Windows 11. And we are going to install the local installation file. Now, this is a 3 GB file, so it might take a bit of time. The download has finished now. I'm going to start the installation of this file. The CUDA setup will extract files to your computer. It will check to see if your system is compatible or not. When the system control has finished, approve the agreement and then just install it using the Express installation. And just click on next and close, and the installation has finished. Next step is to download and install some CUDNN files that are used to provide the acceleration of the deep neural network on CUDA devices. We have a link to another website on NVIDIA. Select Windows, the architecture, and a local exe installer type. That is 811 megabytes of download. We will wait for that to finish. And we will click on that file to start the installation. It will extract the files as earlier, and you will have to agree on your licensing and use the Express installation, and it is finished. Now, the next step here is to download and install the zlib compression library. Okay. We're looking into what we need here. Let's see the instructions. Download the pre-built zlib DLL appropriate for your hardware. So looking at this website here, there's a pre-built DLL here. This is for 32-bit, and we also have one for 64. So we are downloading the 64-bit file here. We are extracting that file. So now we have the extracted files. We are going to see locate the DLL x64 folder. We've done that. So these are the files that we need. Copy the zlib wapi.dll to the CUDA's toolkit bin directory. So this DLL file here, we need to copy that. We are going to locate the CUDA's toolkit, NVIDIA GPU CUDA 11.8, and we have a bin folder here. So we are going to paste that file, and there we have it. It has been copied into the correct folder. Now the next step is to download and install the GPU-enabled TensorFlow library. Now we have a TensorFlow project place that we are opening up. And we're going to see what kind of versions that we have here. Now there are two versions, the Windows CPU only and the Windows GPU only. So we're going to click on the Windows GPU only TensorFlow file, and we are downloading that. We're going to open that up, and we're going to extract the file to this folder. And in the library folder, we have two TensorFlow files. We're going to look at the instructions here. Look at the one GPU only. Yes. Decompress it. Locate PixInsight's bin folder. So we are going to locate the program and PixInsight bin folder. We have the file here. It's called TensorFlow DLL, yes. We're going to rename this to something that we know. CPU only. And then we're going to copy the DLL file that we just downloaded into the PixInsight folder. So we're taking this TensorFlow, we're copying that, and we are pasting it inside this folder. And now we have completed that step. We have to then verify and set environment variables. So we have to verify and set environment variables. So we're going to launch the Windows Environment Variable Editor in the control panel, and you can reach that by clicking on System, Advanced System Settings. I know this is in Swedish, but environmental variables. Under System Variables, there should be a CUDA path variable set. So under System here, we're checking to see, yes, there is a CUDA path set to the current directory. That is fine. There should also be a CUDA path similar to the one above, pointing to the same location. And we have that as well. The system path variable should include the CUDA toolkit bin and libnvvp folders. So we're going to check to see if we have one of those. Here you can see that we have a bin and libnvvp in the environmental. So we don't have to do anything like that. Now, next step, we need one more additional environmental variable to tell the TensorFlow library to only use or allocate as much GPU memory as needed. Create a new system environmentally variable named TF force GPU allow growth and set it to true. So we're creating a new one and we are setting that to true. Okay. After you've set that, it's a good idea to restart your computer, and I will do that now, and then we will check to see if everything has taken effect. I've restarted my computer and verified with a command prompt using the set command that this new system environmental variable was also set, because it was not before the restart of Windows. One thing I noticed that it didn't seem to work after I have gone through all of these steps. So I revisited this section of the TensorFlow library and I went to installing RC Astro tools in PixInsight, and I actually included this library in PixInsight, the TensorFlow GPU acceleration libraries for Windows. I added that into resources here, and I restarted the PixInsight to include and install this library. And now we are going to run the same tests again. We are going to start with Blur Exterminator. We're going to run that on this image using the accelerated GPU features, and we are going to see what kind of processing times we are looking at now. I can hear the fans on my graphics card speeding up a bit. I don't think you can hear that though, but we will see what kind of time we are ending up with. There it has finished. We're checking to see 38 seconds. Now, keep in mind that it took 3 minutes and 8 seconds only using the processor, and using my old computer it actually took 23 minutes and 5 seconds. So that is actually great. We're going to check on the next one, Noise Exterminator now. I'm doing the same thing. I am running this on the file here. We had about 5 minutes using my old computer, 38 seconds using the processor only, and now we are at 9 seconds using the GPU accelerator. Final test here, we're going to open up a non-linear HA file and we're going to run Star Exterminator on this one. And we will see. This generates a star image with on-screen star features. And we were at 17 minutes 52 seconds on my old computer, and about 2 minutes using the processor only in this new computer. And now we're going to see what we end up with here. And it has finished, and we're looking at 32 seconds, so that is really nice, I would say. Now keep in mind, this is using my RTX 4060. That is by no means a super high-end graphics card, so if you have a high-end graphics card with a lot of processing power, you will get a much quicker result. The last test is not really relevant for the subframe selector, since the GPU acceleration is for the Russell processes only. So let's wrap this up. It's been a long couple of videos showing you how to build, install and configure your PC for astrophotography processing best results. Looking back, we are comparing my old 12-year-old Asus Republic of Gamer laptop equipped with a Core i7 processor, dual core 2670QM. It's a very old platform and computer. We are comparing that to the new build, the Intel Core i9 14900KF, the latest 14th generation of Intel processors. And as a final icing on the cake, we're also using the GPU acceleration in PixInsight with an Asus RTX 4060. Now, as I mentioned in the videos, this is not the highest efficiency graphics card or the high-end card. It's a basic card in the latest series. You can get much better results if you have a more advanced graphics card, but on the other hand, I spent a lot more money on the processor and the other components in this PC as well, because the GPU acceleration right now is limited to the Russell processes, and well, they are the most processing intense processes in PixInsight, but you're still using other processes in PixInsight as well. So looking at the statistics and summary here now, I ran Blur Exterminator first, and this is for a drizzled 2x image that I used an HA light frame, and it took 23 minutes and 5 seconds to finish Blur Exterminator using that PC. Switching to my new PC, it took 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and when I activated GPU acceleration, it only took 38 seconds for Blur Exterminator to finish on that image. Running Noise Exterminator took 4 minutes 55 seconds on my old computer, 38 seconds on my new computer, and only 9 seconds when using my RTX 4060. Finishing off with Star Exterminator, it took 17 minutes and 52 seconds to complete on my old laptop, and only 1 minute and 59 seconds on my Core i9 computer, and with my RTX 4060 it took 32 seconds. As a final test, I ran the subframe selector using 196 drizzled 2x light frames from my latest projects. Oh, by the way, keep an eye out for that video, it will come shortly. That took a whopping 23 minutes and 14 seconds to complete measuring for those 196 light frames, and on my new computer it took 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Now, I could not enable GPU acceleration for that because there's no support in PixInsight yet for that, so it took the same amount of time. So adding up, if I normally do this step, and keep in mind this is for one light frame. If you're doing an SHO image, you are using or doing at least 3 light frames, I would say. You might do other projects so you have a lot more light frames and it takes a lot more time. The total processing time for these 3 processes and for subframe selector is 69 minutes and 2 seconds on my old computer, down to 7 minutes 57 seconds on my new Core i9, and using my RTX 4060 graphics card, it took only 3 minutes and 31 seconds to complete. So if you add up Blur Exterminator, Noise Exterminator, and Star Exterminator, it will take roughly 1 minute, I would say 1 minute and 10 seconds, give or take a few, to complete these 3. And going back to my earlier computer, I would say you have something like 45 minutes to complete the 3 Russell processes. And yeah, that is wasting a lot of your time, or you have to run back and forth between your computer and doing something else, and that will basically take the entire day. So that was my weekends before I got this new computer. Running back and forth to my computer, just starting and stopping, and administrating new processes to run on PixInsight. I might dive deeper into this field later on in another video, but for now, thank you for watching this and keep an eye out for my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and Consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already doing so. If you want to support me and the production of these videos, there is an option listed in the video description that you can use. Until the next video, I wish you have clear skies.